Welcome to the NS9 postgame show powered by Permani Brothers. I am Ryan. With me is Doug. Doug, first game in San Diego coming off the off day today. The Pirates drop a heartbreaker 3-2. We will probably start in the top of the eighth, but what's up, Doug? How are you tonight?
This simple. This is all Henry should need to do. We have the technology. Why are we obsessed with the human element, which just means mistakes? This could easily be resolved. It's stupid. We've got the technology. Um, Come on, the Pirates need to score more than 2 runs, but they also need to get the calls right. And it's ridiculous that a game, this big global game is decided by a call up AAA umpire. And I mean, the pirate, we're not good enough to overcome bad calls, right? I mean,
No.
that's sure. Aaron Judge can overcome this, the Yankees, the Dodgers, but we need every call that's ours to go our way. It's just frustrating to see. I've been asking for robo umps for years. Home plate umpiring has been terrible. The players, the ball breaks too much. They throw too fast. They're too good.
Yep.
Look, hitters can barely hit over 230 now, right? Umpire, they can't pick up the ball. How's some 50-year-old umpire that's out of shape going to be able to keep up with it? So hopefully, this coming season doesn't do us any good tonight. Very frustrating. We saw a lot of the same old stuff with the Pirates. Just can't score. And when we do score, we give it right back. So.
Yeah, it was a tough one tonight, and I mean that what you're saying, you're more old school than I am. Like I'm pretty traditional old school, but you've been calling for the robot umps, and I'm with you. Like I'm 100% there. Like it just needs to happen. They're already doing it in the minors and throughout indie ball and everything. So I'm with you. I'm there, but we'll get into all that before we get started, Doug. Let me tell everybody about Bet Online. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing, and we're into the NBA and NHL playoffs. And Bet Online has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC, Bet Online remains the best online source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the Bet Online casino with all your top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. Bet Online, the game starts here. Well, let's start in that top of the eighth, Doug. So Pirates go in, they're trailing 3-2. And the Padres, go to Jason Adam, very good reliever out of their bullpen. He gets the first 2 outs. IKF, Cruz, they go down in order. Kutch doubles, so a little 2-out magic. And I don't know, it threw Adam off a bit because then he started kind of getting wild. He walks Brian Reynolds. He then walks Spencer Horwitz. So now you have bases loaded, 2 outs. Pirates are down a run. The Pirates make a call to the bullpen. They go with the closer, Suarez. He comes in against Henry Davis. And Henry Davis, we've talked about him in this past week and how he's been looking better. He hasn't been striking out as much. He's been, he had a homer and a double the other game in Arizona. He comes out, he works a great at bat against Suarez, works it to a full count, and he gets the walk. He tosses the bat, ready to go down. Tie ball game. The Pirates tied it up 3-3, and the umpire rings him up.
And a late call too, right?
Yeah,
and a late call. I mean,
oh yeah, Davis's bat had already hit the infield dirt when
right, exactly.
And he struck him out, and Davis threw his head up. Don Kelly came out. He gets tossed his third ejection of the since he took over, which it was warranted 100% in my eyes.
3 in 20 games. Yeah, that's one to get thrown out on there.
You knew when Kelly came out, he was getting tossed. I'm surprised Keller was screaming something from the dugout that you wouldn't expect from Keller. And yeah, it's just a horrible call. And look, Doug, I've been, I would like to say, I never like to use excuses on bad calls and things like that. If anything, I would say I'm an umpire defender because literally nobody defends the umpires, and I'm always the one on there. Hey, it's a tough job, like you said. To start lead off the show, how can they pick up some of these pitches that are coming in? So it's a tough job. I'm always there to, not make excuses. But this one, I mean, it was just a horrible missed call, and it was
Yeah.
the, I mean, it was the game to that point. 3-2, you go from, hey, you're in the dugout, third out, to you tie the ball game with that one.
Right.
That was a ball, below the knees. It's just a horrible call, and it can't happen.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate. I usually, I try, I never want to blame games on umpires because if you score more than 2 runs, this problem is solved, right? I mean, earlier in the game, the Pirates had, first and second with nobody out, and they did get some runs, but not before, getting to 2 outs, that sort of thing. They could have got more out of that inning. Usually the umpires are bad for both sides. I mean, it usually sort of balances itself out, but that was a brutal call. I mean, again, everything from the late, how late the call was, almost like he was reacting to Henry. Maybe if Henry doesn't throw his bat or something, drops his bat. But of course, Henry was going to drop his bat. That thing was down below his knees, and he didn't hear a strike call because one had not come yet. Yeah, it's really frustrating. Like I said, we have enough going against us. The whole system is against us. We can't have the umpires going against us as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's really unfortunate, and it shouldn't happen. And the technology is in place where it wouldn't have to happen. But baseball's a little slow to some of this stuff.
Yeah, and like you said, it's probably coming. Like, it's through the minors. We've seen the challenge system. It's entertaining the way they do it. It's quick,
It's
and
fast. That's the
it
important thing. It's not
yeah,
going to drag the game.
it needs to be here, and it's just a shame because Davis had a great at bat. He's been playing better. That was an RBI. That was a game tying RBI. And yeah, if the Pirates were better, did they get that call? I don't know, maybe. But like you said,
Yeah.
we're not better. We're not good. So,
All right.
of course, the home team Padres are going to get the call there. And, Jimenez he'd kind of been all over the place all game. But yeah, it was just a horrible missed call, and there's really nothing you can do about it. Like, Kelly gets tossed, and he said his piece, and yeah, what is that? What'd you say? And third time in 20 games. That's a heck of
Yeah.
a percentage so far.
Yeah.
But and then the ninth inning, of course, the Pirates go right down in order. Um, it was funny
Oh,
though. So in that the bottom of the eighth, so I really wasn't on Twitter most of the night. When that bad call happened, I hopped on Twitter and was just kind of reading, catching up on what everyone was saying about the call. And dude, I looked up and Bednar was walking off the mound. Did you catch the bottom of the eighth, Doug? It was so
I,
quick.
I,
What
I
he throw?
did, but
Four
I
pitches?
sneezed and I missed 2 of the outs. I mean, he 4 pitches. He was dope tonight. He was, I mean,
I'll say.
he made Dennis Santana look like yeah, that he was giving up 30 pitch innings. I mean, that was amazing. I had to double check and make sure it was Bednar. I didn't get enough chance to look at him to see who it was. I was like, I mean, you look up, and next thing you know, they're all coming off the field. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
Did the lights go out again? Did you know?
I looked up and I was like, I thought I was like, I wasn't on Twitter that long, was I? And yeah, 4 pitches, 4 strikes, 3 outs. Bednar's out of the inning. So that I missed that whole half inning. Reading about people talking about the bad call in the eighth. But yeah, and then in the ninth, look, Kelly gets ejected, so he's not in there. You have what? Hayes, Frazier, and
Bam.
yeah, Tommy Pham. Like, look, Hayes 0 for 4 today. What he strike out? Every at bat?
I in this.
Can we pinch hit for him? Maybe once, just in the
Yeah,
ninth
four
inning? Like,
strikeouts.
can
Four
we pinch hit
strikeouts.
for the guy? Like, what are we doing here? He strikes out, Frazier strikes out, Pham grounds out, and that's the ball game. I mean, they just go, no, after that eighth, you kind of knew after that bad call, they would just kind of go peacefully in the
Yeah,
ninth.
wind
But
was out of the sails. Bottom part
like,
of the lineup.
can we
Right.
pinch hit anybody?
Yeah.
Canario, somebody? Like, what are we
Somebody,
doing here?
something. Yeah. I mean, I said this on Monday's show when we lost 5-0. I do a show Monday, we lose 5-0, then we score 19 runs, and then I'm back and we score 2 runs. So, but yeah, like I said, yeah, there you go. Nick Solak's available. Canario's
When
available.
was the last time Solak
Isn't
played?
Yeah, I know. I forgot he was on the roster till they mentioned him the
Right.
other day. I think Andy Rodriguez is up now. I mean, look, it is. I said this. I said this Monday. It is time to have a Brian Hayes conversation. He's
Yeah.
awful, very good defensive player, but he cannot hit, and he's not unlucky. 5 years of this is not unlucky, right? This is who he is. He may have a streak here or there, whatever, but you cannot count on him for consistent offense. And he's batting sixth. He's batting sixth, and quite frankly, you've got Nick York down there who's, I don't know, been hitting pretty well for about a better part of a month now. Um,
Yeah.
you just, what are they doing? I mean, set him down for a while, give him some time, let him clear his head, whatever it takes. But you just can't keep running him out there and, in the middle part of the order. Again, the fielding is spectacular. He is better than any defensive player in baseball, I would say. But that's not enough. I mean, 4 strikeouts. Come on. I mean, he's again, he's not. He does not have a positive impact offensively in any way, and it's
No.
and again, when you got somebody like Nick York, Nick Gonzalez should be coming back soon. Like these guys they deserve to play. I don't know what the Pirates will do, but this Brian Hayes starting every single day thing is beginning to look like really, really bad management. Something we're used to, but I don't know how much longer we can keep saying he hits the ball hard. you know
Yeah.
and what's his
He didn't
yeah,
hit much hard
223.
tonight.
Yeah,
He didn't catch
223
up
with a
to much.
560
Yeah,
OPS. I
five.
mean,
That's what I was gonna say. 560 OPS after today's 0
yeah,
for 4 strikeout performance. But you're right. Like at some point, there we have to they have to find some kind of replacement for third base. And like you
yeah.
said, I don't know when Gonzalez comes back if maybe you play him there or you play him at short and put IKF over there, or it's just. I mean, at this point, Doug, I know you were frustrated with Triolo. Like, I'd rather see Triolo there. Like,
Yeah.
it's just what. Oh, I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean
there's
that's it,
just
right?
nothing from Hayes.
Right. We're getting. I don't get too hung up on, oh, your third baseman's got to be that's a power position, 'cause I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I lived in Chicago when they had Ryan Sandberg at second and Mark Grace at first. Mark Grace wasn't a power hitter. It didn't matter. Ryan Sandberg was hitting 40 home runs. It doesn't matter where it comes from. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But you have to hit something. I don't care if he only hits singles. I don't, if he hits like IKF, that's fine. Give me 290, give me 280 with a bunch of singles. But just, I mean, 4 strikeouts, batting sixth. And again, batting sixth is not his fault. That's Donnie Kelly or Ben Sherrington or what have you. But I mean, it's just, it's just beginning to get absurd. I mean, you again, while what's his name? While Nick York, who was supposedly the big trade deadline acquisition last year, it's okay, he was hurt a little bit, but he's been playing for a while. He's hitting. He had a nice night tonight. I think he had 2 hits tonight, and we're watching Brian Hayes swing away like he's in t-ball, and it's just awful.
Yeah. So 220 plate appearances for Hayes this year. He has 7 extra base hits
Yeah.
in 220 plate appearances. So it's brutal. OPS now, OPS plus drops below 60, 560 OPS. Yeah, it's bad. I don't know. Like somebody mentioned here, Gonzalez has been playing short at Indy. You got to do something. I understand you extended Hayes. It wasn't it wasn't the most expensive extension ever. I understand for the Pirates, it's kind of a, oh no, like this was obviously a mistake. But it doesn't mean just because you extended him, it doesn't mean you need to play him every day. Like if he's not hitting, he's
Right.
not producing.
You can't double down on the mistake, right? You made
Right.
okay. You made the mistake, right? It's not a bad contract. What he offers defensively has some value, that sort of thing. But wow. I mean, look, they sat Brian Reynolds down for a day, and he came back, on fire after that. I mean, at least, why not give Brian Hayes a series off? Just see if that helps, and see if somebody else can do something there, because it's abysmal. And um, it's just it's untenable. We can't continue on like this. We're not a good enough team. We're just not good enough to be able to carry somebody that's giving you zero offensively, and
And
we're doing it with two or three guys.
and at the very least, you can pinch hit for him in the ninth inning, Doug, in a
Yeah,
one
yeah,
run
yeah.
game.
Right.
Like pinch
Absolutely.
hit
Yeah.
anybody on that bench
Yeah,
would have
this
been
is not
fine.
like saying, okay, come back here, Ted Williams. We're going to pinch hit for you, right? No, it's Brian Hayes, who was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts at the point where you could have said, hey, he's not seeing the ball well tonight. So let's try
Yeah,
one of these other guys. Let's just see
right.
if something, can happen there. If somebody could just make some contact.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you. So that was how the game ended. Pirates lose 3-2. Opening game against the Padres this series. Uh, let's talk about Mitch Keller, Doug. He's always one of your favorite pitchers to discuss and everything. He gets the start today. I goes out there. I thought he pitched very well. Goes 6 innings, 3 hits, gives up 3 runs. We'll talk about that. Only 1 strikeout. I think he had like 9 ground ball outs.
Yeah, he was
Had
very efficient. He was 7 pitches in the first inning. I think it was 13 pitches in the second inning. He was just getting outs. It was really, really impressive.
Yeah, the
Um,
Padres didn't have a hit or a base runner or something until I think the fourth inning
right.
when they got on the board. But yeah, he was pitching great. I was actually surprised. He came out at 78 pitches, Doug, and they put
Yeah.
Tanner Rainey in. I was a little surprised at that because Keller's your horse.
Right.
At this point, like we know he can go eat innings and go deep into games, and I don't think like even so he gave up 3 hits, 3 runs, but we'll talk about how those came about. It wasn't like he was giving up home runs or they were like
Right.
smoking
Well,
exit
well,
velocity barrels off of him. But
one of those hits is probably an error, right? I mean,
right,
that the Jackson Merrill error was with. I mean, I thought it was an error as soon as I saw it. I'm no professional scorer, but I think a lot of people did. And I wouldn't be surprised if that gets changed later on. Um, so yeah, unfortunate. You don't make the plays and that's kind of when you keep playing people out of position or not at their best position or even worse at their worst
yep,
position that they play. This is the kind of things that happen for a team that's built on pitching. It's a really bad strategy. But yeah, Keller was really good. The one thing that frustrates me about him is, as soon as we score and we take, what is it, 2-1 lead? I think we take a 2-1 lead, and he comes out in the sixth and he gives it right back up.
yeah,
I would like one of the smarter guys, maybe in our chat, the Jim Donardo, somebody. How often does he give up runs immediately after the Pirates score? It seems frequent. Um, I mean, again, that wasn't even a bad inning. They didn't hit the ball too hard on him or anything. I mean, it was a double, but it wasn't crushed. It's just how it goes. Um, but yeah, it would be. He does seem to. Somebody texted me tonight. Oh, I hope he gets traded. I'd love to see him in the playoffs. And I'm like, oh, he kind of wears down. I don't want to see. I'll be very if he's ever pitching for the Pirates in the playoffs, I'm going to be very nervous about that first playoff start. He seems to let nerves get the better of him, and then he also seems to wear it down as the season. But as far as tonight goes, he pitched really well,
yeah,
and he like I said, he only threw 78 pitches. He easily didn't necessarily need him to. Rainey was fine. Bednar didn't even seem like there was uh, Bednar pitched, through 4 pitches. So it wasn't even like it doesn't, his outing almost doesn't count.
right, right. But yeah, you make I mean, Keller, I thought was great tonight.
Look
But
at Jim. Jim just half-assing it now. Come on, man. Come on.
he's not looking up stats for us, I guess.
Boy, I tell you.
People will say, trade Keller. And look, I get it as far as, trading him might be your best opportunity to actually get a legit bat in this lineup. But I don't know how you could trade him at this point. I mean, with the
Right.
injury to Jared Jones, with Barco got injured. You're trying to make Carmen Majinski a starter. like you're all this pitching depth that we had all going into this year isn't here yet. Like, we've seen
Right.
Harrington. Harrington didn't really take the ball and run with it. Burrows has had a couple tough starts. So like I just Keller is that steady 6, 7 innings he's going to give you, and he's going to keep you in the game, which he did tonight, even though yes, he did give up the lead. Um, it's
And
just I just don't know how you trade him at this point.
well, the Pirates won't find a pitcher as good as him, cheaper than him either.
Mhm.
Right. So, it's easy to say trade him now because you got, Heaney's doing his thing and Falter's doing his thing and that. But again, I'm not sure that Bubba's going to come here and light the world on fire. He does throw a lot of pitches. I mean, he's going to be a 5 inning pitcher at best. Yeah, I mean, Keller is probably your best opportunity to get, a legit bat. I'm very concerned about Ben Cherington making that trade.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
So I'd almost rather they don't trade, Keller here at the deadline. If they trade him in the offseason when there's a new GM, that might be something you can deal with. But, yeah, Oviedo comes back, that sort of thing. But right now, yeah, the pitching depth is really not this team's strength right now. It's more theoretical than actual. And, counting on Keller for 6, 7 innings, 8 innings every start, and good innings at this point. Now, this is his time. Every year he's been really, really good in May and June. So, we'll want to keep an eye, but, he's doing fine. I'm not ready to run him out of town yet. I
Right.
always want more from him. I'm always, I'm a little tough on him, no doubt about it. But, we're probably going to trade Haney at the deadline, right? And
Right.
we won't get much there. So you get rid of him and Keller, and that's a little shaky.
Yep. Yep. But let's talk about that sixth inning. The Pirates are down 1-0. They score two in the top of the sixth. They go up 2-1. And like you mentioned, so Keller comes right back out in the bottom of the sixth. So he walks Tatis. Luis Ariz doubles. So, the game's tied 2-2. He gets Machado to fly out. Now, look, this is a very good Padres lineup. Like, no one's saying it isn't. Like, that's why I said I thought Keller pitched great tonight. It's you're facing Tatis and Arise and Machado and Jackson
Machado and
Merrill.
Sheets, my goodness,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
Jackson,
a tough lineup. So,
yeah,
but Machado flies out. Arise gets to third on it, so he moves up. The Pirates play it right. They bring the infield in. Doug Jackson Merrill grounds it right to Adam Frazier, which is what you want. Frazier throws home and just is totally off the mark.
just
Throws
off
it
the mark.
to Davis's right, and Davis wasn't able to make the tag on it because he had to go to his right to get that. But if he makes that throw, I mean, he's out, and the game's probably still tied at 2. So
Yeah, again, a
it's a
better
tough one.
defensive team, a better fundamental team, and Mitch Keller gets out maybe with no runs, right? If IKF fields that one earlier when they score the first run, if Frazier makes that play, we're talking about what a great outing by Keller tonight.
Yep.
Like I said,
And he
that's a
has to
tough
make that
lineup.
play. And
Yeah,
I get it's, you have to be perfect on that, but that's why the infield's in. And he had plenty of time to make that throw. He just totally
yeah,
threw it
just
to Davis's right.
right. Just he didn't square himself, or yeah. I mean, again, it was kind of sloppy, and it's not. This is not the. We're not the kind of team that can be sloppy. We have to win in the margins. We have to do the little things,
Yep.
and we have to play fundamentally sound. And we didn't do that tonight behind Keller. And had we, he probably pitches into the seventh or eighth inning, and he probably gets away with giving up a run or something to that effect, and we get out of there with a win. And we don't even do it. We're not even discussing the bad umpiring.
Right. And this, I'm going back to this offense again. So Hayes strikes out 4 times. Frazier struck out 3 times. He didn't have a great game. And
No.
Frazier's been great defensively. Like he's been
Yeah,
fine
he's
at
been real
second.
solid.
But he just didn't make that throw today. And that was the run that gave the Padres the lead, and then we lose out on the tying it up with the bad call and with the umpire. So it's just a frustrating, like, annoying game tonight. I guess we could talk about some of the offense that actually did something. So the Pirates did take the lead in the 6th inning, came back. They got Pham gets on, IKF gets a single. Then 2 outs, 2 on. Reynolds gets a single, and then Spencer Horwitz comes up with a single to make it 2-1. And the Pirates take the lead. So, Kutch had a couple hits. Reynolds again seems to be hitting seeing the ball a lot better. Hopefully he's coming out of it. He had he had a hell of a game in Arizona before this. But yeah, 2 hits tonight. Kutch had 2 hits. Horowitz had a hit. And bottom of the lineup, Pham and IKF had those hits in the 6th inning, but that was pretty much it.
Pham actually had a pretty good game. He made that real nice catch in the 1st inning. He went 1st to 3rd on that IKF single, and that was, it was close. He did that. So
He
yeah,
almost homered.
Yeah. Oh, and that was right down the line.
Right down the line. I thought it because when I saw Pham in the lineup, because I knew, he hasn't homered all year. I looked up his odds to homer tonight, and it was like plus 1,000 or like 1050 or something. So I was like, oh, there you go,
baby.
And when I saw that going down the line, I thought it was out of here. And yeah, of course it wasn't. But yeah, it's just I can't believe they went Hayes, Frazier, Pham in that 9th inning without pinch hitting anybody. It's just brutal.
Thanks to the chat, we just hit 6,000 subscribers.
Here we go. You guys, 6,000 sickos over here.
And gluttons for punishment.
Still watching us, still watching this team at 12:19 a.m. Yeah, it was a tough one tonight, Doug. And look, the Pirates were not, they were a big underdog in this going into this game. They were like 2-1 underdogs. So, but they had a chance to steal this game and not even steal it. I mean, they were up 2-1 and should have tied it in the 8th, and it just didn't work. And like you said, they're not good enough to pull this stuff out when things don't go their way. Oh, I got Guinness, Mike. I got Guinness. I've just been silent. By the way, before we end this, Doug, I gotta say this. Those Padre uniforms, the City Connects, they're horrendous.
They're the worst ones I've seen. To me, they're the worst ones I've seen.
We're gonna sound like a bunch of boomers here, but what is this? Hot pink. You got yellow sleeves. You got some kind of
green,
bright green.
I don't understand.
San Diego's, got half of it's in pink, half's in yellow. What is that?
Yeah, I mean, I
this jersey
sort of thought it was like a Marlins thing, and I'm like, no, we're playing the Padres. I mean, no connection to their, the colors of their uniforms in the past, right? They had the brown and mustard, and then they have the blue and white, but just those were Savannah banana looking. You know what I'm saying? Those were, bad minor league. Awful.
Oh, 100%.
Just awful.
Because that's my biggest pet peeve with some of these City Connects is that they don't even resemble at all near about what the actual team colors are. And like this one is just like they just threw paint, on a jersey and was like, let's go with it. Horrible. Look, and I love the Padres. They got the Friar. They have the brown with the pinstripes from the 90s. Like I love all of that. I love their retro ones. This ain't it. And Jim's over here saying they're the best ones. Everybody in the chat tell Jim that he's wrong. These are horrific. And I hope they're not wearing them all series because I might have to throw up. But yeah, these are
they're ugly. They're really bad. I went to the Phillies game where they were wearing theirs. Theirs are really sharp. It's got the Liberty Bell.
Yeah,
it's got the color. Right.
Yeah, the Liberty Bell. That makes sense. That's Philadelphia.
Yes, right. That makes sense. Exactly.
What was San Diego about that?
I don't know. I don't know. I have friends in San Diego, and I've sent a text out to them to see what they like. What does this mean? I don't get it. Please explain.
Michael says they are channeling their Cabbage Patch Strawberry Shortcake 1980s look. I mean,
all right.
That's as good a guess as any other one. Yeah, it's brutal. So I had to get that in there. Screw those jerseys.
Yeah.
Anything else from this game tonight, Doug? This sucked.
No, it was a fun 2 games there in Arizona, and hopefully we can get back to that tomorrow. It looks like Brian Reynolds is coming around. And maybe we can get Horowitz, get Kutch going, get Cruz going, and maybe we can, compete a little bit. We'll see.
I was going to tell you, Doug, before this, when we had the Arizona series and I was on one of the post games, um, Reynolds had a great game. Cruz had a home run. Like it seemed like these guys are coming out. And I said, look, Nick Gonzalez comes back. You got Henry Davis. Looks like maybe he's seeing the ball better, and maybe this is his turnaround. And I was going to say, Doug, maybe if Horowitz start, like I can start actually squinting.
You can
And maybe
squint.
I could squint and see a decent offense in there. But
A
with
1
that
through
tonight, we
6,
gotta go back.
a
We
possible
gotta take
1
a
through
step
6.
backwards.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, get Gonzalez and York up here, right?
Yeah, get Hayes out of the lineup.
Get Hayes out of the lineup, or hopefully Henry can continue to just do sort of what he's been doing. Just be a 230 hitter with a 700 OPS. I'm not asking for all-star type performance. Just hit. Just be, just don't be a complete negative, war type guy. Be a guy that gets some positive, because his defense has been much better. He puts the work in. He's a hard worker. He's intense. We could use some of that. But we need production. And tonight he has that good at bat there at the end. He should have driven in the tying run. But so hopefully he can still get that going. I'm guessing we're going to see Indy tomorrow, but we'll see.
Steel City DW says they're supposed to be the colors of the San Diego sunsets. And Lisa here says, I lived in San Diego. I've never seen a pink and green sunset.
Yeah,
I'm with you, Lisa. What is with these? That wasn't the color of the sunset.
I was going to say, I spent some time there. I've seen some sunsets. That's not what brought to mind. Those uniforms did not bring that to mind. I immediately thought Savannah Bananas. I'm like, what's happening?
That's a good point, because you said it's some silly minor league,
Yeah, exactly.
I thought they were going to minor league. I
thought they were going to break into song and maybe start shooting T-shirts or hot dogs out of a gun or something. I didn't know.
They'll start dancing with the umpire. They might have been dancing with the umpire, because
they're dancing with him now, right? Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
he's definitely with them.
All right, Doug. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, people want to go to bed.
we've ticked. Jim was already fired up about this call tonight, and now we're just really ticking him off. But thanks everyone for tuning in and listening.
Mr. Grey Poupon over there.
Yep. And we'll be back tomorrow. Bailey Falter on the mound as the Padres get game 2 there in San Diego. So we'll Pirates will try it again, Doug. Another game tomorrow. That's the good thing about baseball.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You get to play every day. And sometimes that's a good thing. But
right.
Yeah, if you're not subscribing, subscribe. Join the masses. Become one of us. One of us.
Hit that bell. Hit the like this video. And guys on the podcast too. I'm always listening to the podcast when I can't when I'm not on these and I can't catch you guys. But people listening on the podcast, we appreciate you as well. And that's all we got. So we'll see you tomorrow night. But that's it. See you guys.
All right. See you guys. Thanks.
Peace.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.